Hey Nomies, welcome back to the MT and me. You know, for the last few weeks, we've been working under Pearl. I've got a beautiful day today. It's actually a day after some pretty heavy rainfall, and that has prompted me to check on something else, something inside Pearl. Not relating to what's below her, but to what's on top. So, instead of looking down and under, let's go up and over today, here on the MT and me. So, as I told you, it finally rained. We had been in a prolonged hot, dry spell, which, if you'll watch my last few videos, I have made no secret of whatsoever here on the MT and me. We've had extreme heat warnings, heat advisories. We've had prolonged periods with little, if any, rainfall. My entire state was under a moderate burn warning. My county had a burn ban in effect until just yesterday. I think they finally might have lifted that because of the recent rains. Actually, it's been a few days ago now. Maybe. I don't know. I lose track of time. But anyway, point is, it finally gave us a couple of days with some serious heavy rainfall. And, I've always had a concern with Pearl's roof. I've had to, not long ago, replace the tarp that's covering her, the tarp that is literally protecting the inside and keeping things dry. Because, let's face it, in addition to normal wear and tear, at this moment, Pearl's roof has some pretty significant openings in it. For example, the front vent directly over the cab area. It had been totally destroyed. The plexiglass was all worn out and broken, and so I just took the entire thing out. There's basically nothing but a 14-inch square hole there now that is covered by the tarp and thus protected. Same thing for this opening right in the middle of Pearl. This is where the roof air conditioner was mounted. You can still see a few pieces of the metal framework that held the original AC unit in place. I haven't taken those out yet, but the roof unit has been missing for, a couple of years now. And here again, it's another big hole that I have plastic over, and also the tarp is covering to keep out the rain. And in this hole, you can directly see the tarp right there. This is where the refrigerator vent went out. This entire area, and of course it's got this brace going right across the middle of it because there's part of a metal framing going across the middle of it. It needs to be completely covered because I am not putting this fridge back in place, and the one I install is probably, well, I'm sure is not going to be a butane fridge, so it's not going to need a vent. So this opening is going to have to be completely patched with a metal patch fully sealed in, and then of course it'll be sealed again whenever we reseal the entire roof on Pearl. As for these other two openings, well, I will eventually put an air conditioner back on the middle one of some form or fashion, so that'll take care of that one. The one up front is going to have a vent and possibly a fan installed in it. But for the time being, I'm thinking about just ordering a couple of the cheapest roof vents that I can find to put in those holes and seal them in and cover them up so that I can get on with the process of repairing Pearl's roof completely. In addition to those 3 big openings, there are numerous tiny holes here and there. I've got 1, 2, I guess 3 vent holes where PVC pipes went up from the plumbing to provide drainage vents. There's also another hole up front where they had an old analog television antenna installed. So I've got just a small hole where that went through the roof so that the wiring and all could access it and the base could be mounted. And here and there's just another tiny hole that may or may not be where something had been mounted, or maybe it's just somewhere that a hole has come into the roof. That happens, you know, you get those little tiny holes. So there are several places that if that tarp were not up there, we would have some major leaks and quite a few little minor leaks. Thank goodness for big tarps. But I'm still getting some water in Pearl back here in the back, and I'm not exactly sure from where. I think this rear window may have something to do with it. Come here. You might not necessarily be able to tell by looking, but that section of floor in the back, the dark area, is dark because it's very wet. And there's really not anything up on top that indicates it's been leaking. So my main suspect is now this rear window. Not long ago, I put this back in place. I'd had it covered with plastic for a couple of years, and I frankly got tired of replacing the plastic every 3 or 4 months because it would break down in the sunlight and tear up. So I just basically stuck this window back in place, and it's very loosely installed. First of all, the wall is not thick enough to properly tighten it into place, so it's just sitting here. It's not sealed in any way, and so I think water's coming in around the bottom of it. It's not wet itself, but for now, since the rain 2 days ago, day and a half ago, anyway, it's had time to dry out. The wall beneath it is not wet. The floor beneath it is soaked. Also, this chair was sitting under it, right against the back. It has water in it. This plastic is wet. This piece of metal is wet. This is my famous list of to-do and to-don'ts. It's pretty well ruined because this piece of foam board has now gotten wet and moisture-laden. And the floor itself is very wet from side to side. The framing back here is wet. The remaining insulation on the wall is not wet. And up top, the roof is dry. Except for one spot. Right here, this side of this wooden brace is wet. Over here, not on this side, but on this side. That's the only wet spot up there. Interestingly enough, it's right under one of the holes where we had to take those bolts out of the roof. However, the tarp is intact up there. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. It's hard to say. There are 3 other holes, including one over here on this side, and nothing's wet under any of them, just this one. Maybe there's a leak there. I don't know. But this window is my prime suspect for making this floor so wet. I need to come out here and get in Pearl when it's raining so that I can see what's going on. That's probably not going to happen for a few more days now. But when it does, I'll be back out here with the camera and we'll see firsthand where this water's coming from. Because right now, I'm more than a little puzzled. For the time being, though, what do you say we go outside and look under the tarp just to see what's going on there? Yeah, I mainly wanted to see if it was dry here along the back. And it obviously is not. I've got a nice little pool of water right here in the middle on the back. And I'm not sure how it's getting in. There's no hole in the tarp. I guess it could be soaking through. Tarps are not 100% waterproof, but they keep out 99.8% of it usually. But the fact that I have this little puddle of water on the back explains why my piece of wood is wet, because this is the hole that's right above it. And that's close enough that I'm sure water got up there at some point. This is what's left over after a couple of days of drying out. I still don't really know where that water is coming from, but at least I know where it's pooling and where it's getting inside. Now, I don't think that's enough to really make the floor that wet. I still think some water is coming in around the window, probably across the bottom of it. And that has got to be contributing to the problem as well. So, like I said, inside, I think we're just going to have to come out here when it's raining fairly hard and see what's going on. Now, I should note, other places inside Pearl are not wet. That's the only spot that I've got water collecting. It's right there in the back, most notably on the floor, which if it keeps getting wet is eventually going to cause a problem with all that wood on the floor, and I don't want that. I don't want to catch myself having to replace a major piece of flooring in this old girl. So we've got to do something about that. That's all there is to it. Even wet right here in front of the door. So, wet floor, still got a leaky roof, even with a tarp over it. Can't do anything about it today because I really don't know where to start. When it rains again, we'll come back out here, like I said, with the camera and document what's going on. See if we can't figure out where the water's getting in, and then, and only then, will we know what to do about it. I guess in addition to the problems Pearl has underneath that we've been working on, you know, dropping the fuel tank to get it cleaned out, things like that, we also still have some problems on her top end too. Even though we've got a good tarp covering it, and there is not major leaking, there is still significant leaking here at the back that is going to cause a problem if I don't do something about it. Well, nothing I can do right here, right now, except ask you your thoughts and opinions. Eventually, like I said, we're going to cover those big holes, get the small holes sealed up, and give Pearl a roof job. Use some sort of sealant, probably a rubber or vinyl sealant, to put over her entire roof to make sure she's watertight all around. But we're still a ways away from that, and obviously I can't have her continuing to leak like this until we get to that point. We've got winter coming up before too long. That tends to be a rather wet time here in the Mid-South. So I don't want those leaks. Let me know what you think. Give me your ideas, okay? Because you guys have saved my bottom more than once when it comes to this old girl. I depend on you. Comment below. Give me some ideas, and we'll go from there. And like I said, when it rains again, you'll be out here with me to see what exactly is going on. Until that time, we're going to sign off for the day. Hope you've been enlightened, as I have. Not necessarily in a good way. Finding a problem, I guess that's a form of enlightenment. Solving a problem is even better. So help me do that if you can. My nomies, thank you so much for making it work here, for watching each and every week, and for all your support, moral and otherwise. If you're not subscribed, do that below. Give me a thumbs up, and check us out next week again right here for the MT and me. Till that time rolls around, I'm Russ. As always, thank you for watching, and we will talk later.